It's not going. Oh, there it is. I think. Hey. Yeah, wait on that one. The Instagram. I hope it. I hope it's working.
Yeah.
You're live. Okay, good. All right. Hey.
We're live.
We're live. We're live on Facebook. Yay. All right. Chef Ron is here. We got about 2 minutes. We're going live. We're going to talk all about sitting down to eat for dinner, you know, and how important it is.
That it is.
It's very important. I think, you know, I was in Boston a couple of weeks ago, and I was making dinner. I was working, but then I was also, you know, I was with my boyfriend, and I was making dinner. And we sat down every night together, and it's just so, because that's the way he grew up, that's the way I grew up, and so, you know, it's really nice.
Yeah, people don't, I mean, you tend to overlook how important the communal nature of food is, and that's something I always talk about. When you sent me over the material for today's show, I was like, oh, this is great. This is like right in my wheelhouse.
And I think, and it's healthier too. I mean, I think you have more mindful eating when you sit down and eat. Sit down as opposed to just standing up, which I love to do. I love to stand up and pick. I love it. So, we got 1 minute. Okay, we're going live. Hey, kids. All right. Here we go. All right.
That's a weird.
Huh? What's he saying? What? Everything all right?
Yeah, the sound was a little weird.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's not weird on mine, is it?
No. Yeah, it's not anymore.
Okay.
It was playing like 2 different commercials at the same time.
Oh. I wasn't paying attention. That's why I'm here and he's there. All right, kids. We're going live. Yay. Who doesn't love food? I love food. Some people don't like food. It's weird. I don't know. I mean, and I don't even like, you know, like I dated somebody that didn't really like food. And he never asked me if I was hungry. I hated that. I love him, though. He's a good friend of mine now. He's like, you want some cashews? I'm like, no, I want like a steak or something. Ooh, girl, you shine like a Fifth Avenue diamond. They don't make you like they used to. Move South, who shows you how to enjoy life. Right here on Love 860. And featuring Living Atlanta. Steffi, you're so classic. Hey, this is Steph Palermo, and it's the Just Steph Show. Everybody has 2 lives. The second one begins when you realize you only have one. We are second lifers. We're empty nesters, newly single, and those starting over. H3, your healthy, happy, hip years are just beginning. The bat phone is connected, so give me a buzz to chat today, 404-355-8699. Tell me what's going on in your life. I want to hear from you, and we have a great show for you today. I'm very excited to have Chef Ron Eyester here in the studio. Hey, Ron.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm happy to have you. We talked a couple years ago, and so we're going to get into that a little bit. But I have to say, you have the best meatballs in town. I tasted them at that meatball festival. I'm just saying.
Thanks.
They taste just like my grandmother's. We'll talk about that, though. And so, of course, we have the Just Steph rules of dating and living in Atlanta for where to be this weekend. And it's life on life's terms. And my show is a podcast on iTunes. So you don't have to miss a beat. And if you don't want to miss what's going on in and around town, you can subscribe to my Living Atlanta calendar on juststeph.com for 99 cents a month. That's it. You can find out all of what's going on and more. And what else? It's all in a big calendar. You can figure out what's going on this weekend. And you get a free download of my book. So that's exciting. So what did you do this weekend?
What did I do this weekend? Well, I'm still working at Southern Bistro, so,
Right.
the restaurant business.
Right.
I was in there a little bit, and I'm kind of moving in more of a direction where I'm doing some consulting.
Right.
And I'm working on developing a new brand called I Dig Food,
Oh.
where we curate events, some larger events that are in different parts of the city.
Right.
And then maybe working with individual restaurateurs to kind of develop and implement events
Right.
for their brand. And I've been doing some work also with Suzanne Facettin from Buttermilk Kitchen.
Oh, great
So,
place for breakfast, man. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, Suzanne knows what she's doing with
My
eggs.
kids love Buttermilk Kitchen. Yeah, it's a great place. It's really nice, and they have and they're jam packed too.
Yeah,
Busy.
they kill it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, moving into this consulting role, it's been kind of weird trying to actually be off every now and then on the weekends, and
Right.
kind of to your point about living balanced. That's really been one of my goals, is to be able to spend more time with my kids,
Right.
And not try to spend every waking moment in a restaurant.
Right. Well, funny that you say that, because basically what I did this weekend was baseball. And, I'm usually out and about and all around town and trying to go out and do this, that, and the other thing. And it's just been, I've just sort of had a lot of stuff going on with my kids.
Yeah.
And so, and things that I want to do in terms of, fostering those relationships with my children. And so I made my 12-year-old do cardio blast on Saturday. He goes, I don't want to go. I said, well, you're going to do it. He goes, well, I don't want. I said, you know what? You don't have to do anything. And he came. I said, you come. You can just sit. But he came and he
got to do it.
He did. He did. So we ran all over Georgia Tech, and he came with me, and we had a good time. And then Sunday, I took my kids to Sweet Georgia Juke and Joint in downtown.
Yeah.
For brunch, and my mom came too, because we were going to go see my girl Susan, she finished her first marathon this weekend, and I watched. I sort of watched how she was training, and we were at the finish line. But going back to Sweet Georgia Juke and Joint, my kids loved it, and they have live music there, and the food was really good.
Good.
And they loved it. It was very much a lot of soul food, and I mean, my son had a big pile of fried chicken and waffles. I mean, it was gigantic.
Southern brunch staple right there.
Yeah.
That's all the craze. Everyone
Right.
in their chicken and waffles.
I know, and so, but the food was good, and my kids really loved it. So that was really what was most important to me, because my kids pretty much know good food.
Yeah.
Because not only was I'm Sicilian, so I cook, and then they have a dad that takes them to places like New York Prime, and we've always gone to Davio's and
Yeah, it's
Hal's,
important to expose kids to that dining.
I took one of my sons to Rosebud. So I mean, we've been to my kids know pretty much good food.
You've developed their palates.
Yeah, but they get a little spoiled.
Yeah.
Because then they're like,
Yeah.
we're not eating instant mashed potatoes. They won't eat it.
I'm with you.
So,
My two kids are the same way.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's pretty much what I did, and what else? I don't even know what else I did. I've just been doing baseball. It's been crazy. So, but it's fun. It's always fun, and I cooked a little bit this weekend too. So, okay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about why dining out is good for relationships, even not just love relationships, but families and friendships. And so, I mean, you promote that by having, dealing with restaurants, and you've been in the restaurant business for so long.
Sure.
What is your sort of take on all?
Well, I mean, it's a very valid point, and it's definitely something that I firmly believe in, going back to my days, at Rosebud and Morningside, and now being at Southern Bistro in Chastain Park. And again, both of those restaurants being very neighborhood oriented.
Right.
And, the whole idea of developing relationships, when everyone talks about dining, and especially all this eat local and support local, and you hear the word sustainability, people tend to overlook the fact that sustainability also applies to how we interact personally with one another. Whether it's a dining companion that you're with, or how you interact with the people in the restaurant. But that whole communal nature of food is really so important. And, it's really one of the reasons I'm so drawn to move in the direction I'm going now, where, I'm trying to work on larger events that really are, bringing people together,
Right.
To celebrate, whether it's focused food themes on certain ingredients or it's musically inspired, but it can't happen unless we're able to gather people and foster an environment where they enjoy hanging out and enjoying food. So it's an indispensable part of how we eat.
I have to agree, and I think, for families and for friendships, there's nothing better than sitting around the table and
breaking bread.
Breaking bread, especially good Italian bread, and dipping it in my East Boston dipping oil. It's unbelievable. So I love that. I love sitting around the table and enjoying food with people. I love cooking with my friends.
Yeah.
I love when people are in my kitchen, and even just sitting at my kitchen island drinking wine while I'm cooking, and we're talking, and I just love it. There's something about
Well,
food.
it's almost like their company nurtures your experience cooking.
I love it.
And then it's great to reflect on that because it really kind of inspires you.
Right, and I think and sometimes if I'm cooking alone, I get in my zone because I just sort of get in this. It's my place.
Do you have to have music if you're?
Not. Sometimes I just like it quiet.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like music. It depends. Sunday's wine day. I like to have my wine and all that. But I think it's healthier. It's healthier for your digestion as opposed to standing and trying to grab something on the run.
Yeah.
It's just sitting down and relaxing, and you have more mindful eating, and so. I think it's so important for families, and I know people have been writing about it in magazines, and you'll see these, articles, and they'll bring it up on TV about how the kids, have a problem. They've never sat down. They don't know how to converse.
Yeah, well, and as much as we love social media, that's another culprit.
Right.
It prevents this generation from really developing the social skills that they're going to need for later on in life.
Right.
And really, you make a great point because social media is not going to go away. And, I'm a very social person without it, but I love social media. I
Right.
love checking on Instagram,
Right.
But people should be, take better advantage of the opportunity to sit down and share a meal and put your phone down, and just enjoy one another's company. I mean, again, when I had Rosebud, and we were in that great neighborhood of Morningside,
Right.
it was almost something we worked with the staff, trying to recognize and anticipating what people's needs were going to be. And I could see people walking in the door. You could see some of them wearing their stress from the day and trying to pay them a little extra special attention.
Right.
And, in a not so obvious way, try to really let them understand the transcendental nature of food. Like, hey, we all have mortgages. We've all got issues. We're all, there are definitely forms of stress that loom over us all the time. Just enjoy a meal and just let it wash over you for
Right.
a minute and get back to life, Instead of this whole utilitarian
Right.
approach to food, like you just said, standing up and just eating for the sake of eating.
Right. I mean, we definitely need to, feed our bodies in terms of nutrients, but there's, that other part of feeding our souls and our hearts and our spirits, and we do that in community.
Yes.
So,
And it's a timeless aesthetic, That's
Right.
the irony of all this, that, right now we're in a studio, we've got social media live up
Right.
and running, but what's our focus? It's on this timeless aesthetic of just human qualities
Right.
associated with food.
right. And I got a little bit of information about this. Just digging around. It says, eating alone can be alienating, and the dinner table can act as a unifier, a place of community. And I can tell you this: I grew up in the craziest household. It was just nutso. Just crazy Sicilians. My father gambled. It was like, it was crazy. You never knew what was going to go on outside of that, but we sat together at the table. We had conversation. We laughed. It was the place of peace. It was like sanctuary for us. Unfortunately, to me, that's where I ate and, sort of fed that. But, it was just such a great place because I knew no matter what, we were going to sit down to the table. If I hate to say it, but if somebody died, in between the wake or the funeral, we sat down. After the funeral, we went to a function facility or a local restaurant, and we all sat down and ate together. and it was that bonding that we did around, around whatever event, whether it was weddings, wakes, and funerals.
Yeah, food. I mean, food is always going to be the anchor of social activity, And we first met each other at that Taste of Atlanta Meatball
Right.
Festival years back, and
Right.
again, that whole idea of a social function celebrating food. I mean, when you look at all of the Atlanta landscape in terms of like civic social events, they're all driven by the restaurant scene.
Right.
They're all driven by these local chefs who come and put forth food for for people to be able to kind of, because food is the common ground if you think about
Right.
it. It helps. It's like that whole breaking the ice.
Right.
Like, and all of a sudden you feel comfortable striking up a conversation maybe with a perfect stranger because you guys both have this meatball in your hand.
Right.
It
Right.
seems strange.
Right.
But,
Or even if you're sitting at a bar and you're eating at a bar, you can,
Sure.
you can. I know, like if I'm sitting at the bar at Hal's, somebody gets the mac and cheese, the truffle mac and cheese. I'm like, that's so good. And they're like, hey, get a fork. You know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? And so, it becomes, I'm like, what are you going to order? Especially somebody who's new or has never been to Hal's or whatever. What are you going to order? And, what kind of wine is that? Or, and it really is a great way, like you said, to be an icebreaker and to bring people together.
well,
So.
it's again, it's that common ground that's approachable.
Right.
You don't have to try to feel invasive talking to somebody and, delving into their personal life. You're just, merely discussing a glass of wine or
Right.
a plate of food.
Right.
It's
neutral ground.
Exactly. It's Switzerland of,
Yeah.
of social interaction.
Right, it's sanctuary. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's we're getting a lot of feedback on Facebook here. My dear friend from my high school BFF, Jeff, he said he was tuning in between frying eggplant. He works at the Pushcart restaurant, and we actually cooked New Year's Day together. He and I, and we just had a great time. Just enjoying food, and always it's always a great way for my friends and I to get together. But I think it's very different in Boston than it is here. I noticed that, like, I'll just drop in on my aunt, when I'm up in Boston. I'll just drop in, or people, what are you doing? Let's have a cup of coffee. Let's get a glass of wine. Let's get something to eat. I just texted Jeff yesterday. Said, I'm going to be in town next week. What are we going to do next Thursday for dinner? Let's go and get something. And but I don't see that much. That a lot of that isn't as prevalent here. I don't know if people are so busy, or if they don't know each other, or if everybody's just transplants. I'd like to see more of that. I'd love, I have a girlfriend that I say, okay, you want to come? What day can you come for dinner this week? And she'll come over, and I
Here.
love that here.
Yeah.
Here, but it's not. Nobody really says I want to come by. Or what are you doing?
Yeah, well, and I agree, but I disagree.
Okay.
Like,
Let me hear it.
Again, I grew up on Long Island, so it's not Boston, but definitely some similar traits
Right.
in our upbringings, and again, everything, and versus, unlike you, I grew up in a household where it was a very loving household. Very, my parents were married, and until the day my father passed, unfortunately. My mom, she wasn't quite the cook. Dinner for us was kind of more utilitarian. Like, my brother and I ate the same thing for 18 years. Like,
Right.
every Monday night we had chicken cutlets for 18 years.
Oh, my God.
And, we really looked forward to
Were they good chicken cutlets?
They were pretty good. My mom's got her chicken cutlet game is pretty good, but other aspects of her cooking, it just wasn't her bag.
Right.
Like, my mother could not have provided a better upbringing for my brother and I. But we looked forward to Fridays, because Fridays was going to get pizza from Frank's. And then Sunday was always dinner out, with
Right.
the family. And that's
Right.
my brother and I learned how to eat. Like, we learned how to interact, using food as that anchor,
Right.
so to speak. But, coming down here to the South, I started in Charleston. I've been in Atlanta for 16 years. I've always really recognized that sense of Southern hospitality, where I think it's a little different. We grew up north. Houses are situated in closer proximity.
Right.
It kind of lends itself to this whole popping in notion that
Right.
you're talking about. Whereas I think down south, traditionally, you've got houses that might be like a half a mile apart.
Right.
And so there's these kind of like subconscious barriers.
Right.
And I think it provides more of like kind of a formal setting where people down here are so willing to open their doors and welcome you into their home, but it's it's definitely not as spontaneous as I
Right.
think you're talking about.
Right, right. Well, that I think geography has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal.
Like I grew up next to Aunt Joe and Uncle Al, and they weren't
Yeah, my
blood.
grandmother lived down the street.
Yeah, they weren't blood relatives.
Right.
But that's how we knew them. You
Yeah.
know, and I remember Aunt Joe used to come over with her cigarette and her percolator of coffee
Yeah.
every single morning.
Oh yeah, they
You
smoke.
know?
They smoke their brains out and drink coffee all day. My cousin Kyle lives 2 doors down from my aunt. Right now, I mean, and my sister lives not too far from them, and so, and it's just it's more of a neighborhood feel. Whereas, I might not even know my neighbors here, and I just think a lot of times, for me, my family and my friends at home, we just did all that stuff. Where here it's because I'm not new here, but it's hard to foster that.
Well, you were born into it up there.
Yeah,
It was already an established.
Not everybody does that.
No, but it was already an established culture that
Right.
You were born into.
Right.
And there's probably some elements of that here, but again, to your point, I think the geography does have quite a lot to do.
Well, what's funny? When I went to college, I realized that some people's moms didn't cook, and I was like, "What do you mean? Your mother doesn't cook?
Yeah.
You mean your mother's a bad cook? Like, how does that happen?" Because my mother was frying meatballs every Sunday.
Yeah.
And we were eating. We had great
Sunday
food.
gravy.
We had the Sunday gravy.
Yeah.
I mean, and there was veal cutlets and all of that going on, and whoever was coming by. My uncle would show up, whatever. And so it was just, there was a revolving door in my mother's house. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just always, for goodness sake, the mailman. My father would take the mailman in, give him some food, give him a bottle of Galliano at Christmas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just that much of a feel. Like, I remember people just coming in and just eating.
Sure.
One of my prom dates was, I have a picture of him with a chicken cutlet coming out of his mouth. My mother was feeding him chicken cutlets. So, I mean, that's how I grew up. And so I really miss it a little bit here. I'd like to do more of it. I love it. So, but I think the food aspect in Atlanta has really changed. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But you know what? I wanted to talk a minute about, and I wanted to see what you thought about this too. I sort of had this conversation this week, and I want to talk about the difference between actually research and stalking and cyber stalking on social media. So here's some dating advice for second lifers, and it's the Just Steph rules of dating. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Elaine. Hey, Claudro. My family's from Riesi. All right, so, I was having this conversation because I was talking to somebody about this because they were like, oh, you were creeping on so-and-so's page. And I was like, hey, listen, if they put it out there, it's social. But what's funny? I asked this question on Facebook, where is the line drawn between researching somebody and actually stalking? And what's funny? Nobody had anything to say. They were like, interesting topic. But because I was thinking, well, you know why? Because everyone's doing it. Everyone's digging around. And so I don't know if you do any of this, but do you do
No, I don't. No, I don't dig around. I mean, it's a great topic because, again, being a chef here in Atlanta and being, you're in the public, you're a public
Right.
servant to a certain degree.
Right.
It's funny because it didn't really dawn on me until maybe a couple of years ago when my son, he was 10 at the time,
Right.
was like, oh, Dad, I love being able to Google you. And,
Yeah.
with being on Top Chef and,
Right.
just having that exposure where, you could go find pictures of yourself online.
Right.
And then obviously a lot of it's linked to social media. So,
Right.
I'm fine with people kind of,
me too. Everything I do is public as well.
yeah, so I think for us it's probably a different mindset.
Right.
I just, but yeah, people definitely. I've learned from some millennials in my life who I've worked with that some of these methods for being able to do, we'll call it due diligence.
Right.
Some of them are a little shady.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, this is my thought about all this. If you're putting stuff out in the public and on out on social media. It's there for the world. If you want to make your settings private, you can. If you want to make them friends only, you can. However, when I was dating and, on the dating sites, when I started to correspond with somebody, you better believe I put their name, I put their phone number into Facebook to see if they were there. And I want to make sure they don't have a wife, and I look on LinkedIn to make sure they have the job that they said they had.
Yeah.
I didn't do too much of it because I feel like I just wanted to make sure quickly. But
you're vetting them.
Yeah, I just wanted to see, is this person who they say they are?
Yeah.
And you can see pictures and you can sort of tell if they're just out with their buddies every single night drinking or if they're dedicated to their family, just by some of the photos they put out there. But I personally don't spend too much time digging around like that. I just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that if you put it out there now, there is actually laws against cyber stalking. So and I actually dug around, and so this is for everybody to know. And so here's the difference. This isn't just digging or trying to see if somebody says they are who they are who they say they are, and blah 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 blah. This is real threats. So cyber stalking is the use of the internet or other electronic means to stalk. Oops, I'm trying to shut it off here. It says to stalk or harass an individual, group, or organization. It may include false accusations, defamation, slander, and libel. It may also include monitoring, identity theft, threats, vandalism, solicitation for sex, or gathering information that may be used to threaten, embarrass, or harass. That's, that's
a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, but it's crazy. So, and that does happen.
Well, a few years ago when, I kind of started going down a slippery slope and, my wife and I got divorced. I was giving an interview to a writer I'm not going to name.
Right.
And that's how my ex-wife's family kind of discovered our divorce, because it ended up in this publication.
Oh.
And so, it was obviously really awkward and kind of invasive. But yeah, people are going to find out what they want to know.
Right.
That's just...
Right, and you can. It's the information is right there. It's it's very easy. It's at your fingertips, but I think it gets creepy when you're trying to find out where people are, what they're doing, who they're with all the time. I think that gets kind of weird, and I think maybe you need a little life. Or you need to
You need to eat with somebody.
You need to sit down and have a meal. Because it does get crazy. Because but there are real laws against cyber stalking, and there's laws against digital harassment. And anytime there's an intent to intimidate, it's against the law.
Yeah.
So that's when it or if you're actually reaching out and trying to sort of lure them into conversations and and things like that.
That's interesting. There's definitely some people out there who definitely
I've had some people contact me on Facebook that weren't friends with me on Facebook that have seen my stuff publicly, and it's been a little weird.
Oh yeah.
It's been a little weird. I'm like,
Yeah, no,
block.
When Top Chef was, on, and I was getting friend requests from people from South Dakota and
other countries.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Well,
so it definitely makes you think.
It is weird, and and the thing is, when you're in the public, they can cross the line. But I think for
especially you're at a festival, how many people are hey, can we get a picture with you?
Right.
And then your picture ends up on someone else's Facebook page.
Right.
You have no idea who they are.
Right.
But. I guess sometimes I still genuinely want to believe in the good of humanity.
I agree.
And I want to be big deal, it's a picture.
Right.
Right. What can be done with it?
Right.
I could care less.
Well, I think for, you and I and whoever's out there in the public, in whatever capacity, you have to sort of expect a sort of, whatever's out there. But for the normal person who just wants to be on social media because they want to connect with their old high school friends, and and sort of let their family know what's going on and post some fun stuff. It can get really creepy if somebody's following you around and sort of trying to figure out.
But if you're putting that breadcrumb trail out there, then what are you going to expect? I mean, again, to your point about being busy, like, I like social media. I love Instagram. It's easy, it's quick, it really gives you, not to be cliche, a snapshot of what you're doing or what you're into.
Right.
But like these people who get up and have to update their status, like, I just got out of bed and went to the bathroom.
Yeah,
what should I have for breakfast this morning?
Right.
I mean,
right.
Well, how do you have the time to do that? How do you have the time to document your life for us on Facebook?
Right, every minute.
Yeah.
Right, I agree. So anyway, so there's definitely a difference between finding the information. If you put your stuff out there, be careful because it's out there for everyone to look at, and you can't complain when people are looking at your stuff. Don't put it out there.
Don't put it out there.
Don't put it out there. So don't air your grievances on Facebook, like who you can't stand and why and blah, blah, blah. And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, coming off the election was crazy to get on Facebook. And I mean...
I'm not very political at all, so I just thought the whole thing was boring. But, that's just me. So, all right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, more Ron Eyester, and we're going to find out what more about your new business. And this one is for the birthday peeps: Reno Odish, Mary Temple, and Dee Flores. Happy birthday, kids! Okay, so what's going on here? Let's see. Hi, Paul. Okay. Hi, Sammy. Okay, so let's see who else. Hi, Lori. How come it's not doing? How come that's so funny?
Stop.
Oh my goodness. Hi, Patrick Perez. Can we look over here?
I won't be able to see who's watching on mine.
Why?
Because it's Facebook.
It's mine. Okay, so what do? Do I go? I have to press this?
You might be able to. I think you can only see who's watching live if it's on the device you're actually going live from.
Okay. All right, so Jeff. Hi, Patricia. How are you? Hi, Paul. What's up? Nothing. Just baseball. So Claudro. My family is from Riese, Catanizetta, and Shaka. Jeff, my friend Jeff says food is love. That's right. That's right. I agree. I concur. But we talked about it yesterday, how very easygoing I am, Jeff, right? But who else? That's it, I think. That's all we got. Why would they having trouble playing this video? Why?
I'm fine on my end.
Maybe it's this. Maybe it's my computer. All right. So, all right, kids. So what's happening out there? Hi, Sharon. How are you? Hi, Tony. How are you, honey? All right.
You got a good job. You just talk.
Yeah,
I
love
know
it.
more effort goes into it, but
Oh, I love
I need
talking
my own
to
radio show.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody can do radio. I'm going to actually be presenting at a conference in Boston at the end of April, and it's called the Dream
Dreammakers?
Dreammakers. I'm a dream maker, and I'm going to show people how to be on radio and to conduct an interview.
Oh, nice.
And so they're actually going to sit down and do an interview, and it's going to be on an MP3, and we're going to videotape it. Yeah, and so there'll be other dream makers there, like teaching different things, but it's actually it's experiential.
Very cool.
So I'll be presenting. I'll be in Boston presenting.
How, I mean, like, if you're doing, like, your own podcast, like, I mean, how much exposure, like, or how much reach does it have potential? You know what I'm saying?
30 seconds.
All right.
Well, you know what? It depends on, you can use social media to reach a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot. And you can be on iTunes. You can reach a lot. But I don't have a count, personally, so.
Yes, it's very hard to...
This is a good song.
Love this song.
This is a good song.
I discovered him.
We can't play the music on Facebook because Facebook banned us. Okay, we're back. So I was just moaning and groaning about Facebook, but anyway, I love Facebook because it's so great when we live stream. So, all right, Chef Ron Eyester. Okay, so I met you a couple of years ago at the Meatball Festival, and I made an effort because your meatballs tasted just like my grandmother's.
Yes, I remember that. That was like 3. That might have
Did
been
you
closer
win?
to
You
4
won that
years.
though, right?
I think I actually came in second place that year.
Who won?
I think Drew Boleen from 246 won that year.
You know, that's a good restaurant too.
That's a great restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Davio's was there, and you know, I'm friends with Steve, and he, you know, their meatballs are good. But I always yell at him. I go, "You haven't put enough eggs in your meatball." But
Yeah.
actually, he's actually the meatballs are great.
I actually put a little bit of tomato sauce in my meatball.
Oh, do you?
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you ever put regatta in?
Oh, yeah.
I put regatta in too sometimes.
And you say it right too. You
Yeah,
say it
of
like
course
my
I
grandmother,
do.
regatta.
Regatta.
I know. Some
What's-
of my cousins from up in New York ever heard me say mozzarella or calamari.
That's embarrassing.
They'd probably slap me.
Yeah, you should
That's
deserve
the
it.
product of being down here in the South.
Yeah, but you know, in New York, they cut it off at the end. Like I say marinara, manigattis,
Yeah.
regatta.
And my mom says manigat, regatta,
Yeah.
mozzarella,
Yeah,
and
I say mozzarella.
and galamad.
Yeah, I say galamatis. That's how I say it. That's you know, that's squid for all those that don't know Italian. So
And the tentacles are good.
yeah, there you go. So anyway, so you back then you were doing that.
Yeah, back then I was, I had Rosebud, the family dog, and those meatballs you ate were from our pizza place, Timoni's.
Right.
So yeah, we had a great run. We were in the Highlands for a lot of years.
Right.
And, well, life is life, and you deal with comes at you.
Right.
And you keep moving forward. And, I was very lucky and fortunate to end up with Nancy Goodrich at Nancy G's,
Right.
which we ended up rebranding into Southern Bistro.
Right.
And we're in that Chastain neighborhood over there in the Fountain Oak Shopping
Right.
Center. And we just got a real nice review from the AJC a couple of months
Oh,
ago.
good.
And yeah, we're just doing real approachable Southern food. And, kind of to our point earlier about, sharing a meal in a very comfortable environment. And, so it's
I
been
like her food.
Yeah, she does. Nancy is, it's kind of like you're in our house. That's
Absolutely.
Nancy's approach to running a restaurant. It's a very interactive, friendly, no guard up atmosphere.
Right.
And now, again, like we talked about earlier off air, I've done 20 plus years of restaurants.
Right.
I was married, I'm divorced, I have kids, I'm sober now. I
Right.
have, I'm trying to bring more balance to my life, but I want to stay connected to food because it's such an indispensable part of my life.
Right.
So now I'm going in this direction to where, I want to be able to curate events, both large and small. And do stuff that's food and ingredient inspired, maybe some musical influence, and
Right.
so that's the road I'm going down now. So
Oh, we need to talk. I love those events.
yeah, no, I got some good stuff going on. I'm actually
Yeah.
doing an oyster roast with Tom Murphy at Morningside Kitchen
Nice.
on April 8th, and then a larger event. We used to do an event at Rosebud called Mother Clucker. And it was that name always gets people's attention.
Yeah.
And it was a celebration of fried chicken. I started it like 5 years ago. It's kind of like a potluck style competition
Right.
with chefs and Springer Mountain Farms. I've had a great relationship with them for over a decade. And so they've gotten on board. We're going to be bringing it back to Atlanta on April 30th at the Stave Room at the American Spirit Works Distillery.
Nice.
And we're going to have 30 chefs cooking their interpretation of fried chicken. And we'll have live music. We've got cocktails from American Spirit Whiskey, PBR.
Nice.
And it's all, part of it is all going to be a benefit for Songs for Kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I've
great
seen
charity that
Yes.
we're working with. And I did an event with them. They had their annual event at Park Tavern just a few
Right.
weeks ago.
Right.
And so, again, I want to stay connected to food. I want to continue to hopefully have a positive impact on people's lives, and I want to have fun.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
that's what it is. It's all about the second lifers.
I know, I was reading your stuff, and I was like, wow, this is so kind of very timely for me and where I am in my life.
Right.
And,
Well, yeah. I mean, as a second lifer, we realize that life is meant to be lived. Life is not a spectator sport.
nah.
We need to dive in, enjoy it. Sometimes the journey, everyone says enjoy the journey. Sometimes I'm like, ugh, it's not fun right now. But, it really is about enjoying every aspect that life has for you. And that's the whole part about being a second lifer.
Yeah, no, and what they say, hindsight is 20/20, and
Right.
you definitely do get, wise as the years go by, and you start to see things. I know for me, especially being sober, seeing things with an exceptional sense of clarity.
Right.
And being able to keep things in perspective and say, all right, this is how we're going to move from this point on.
Yeah, I like that. And so, how long have you been sober?
Just under 3 years.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
God bless.
It's been a very necessary journey.
Right.
And and I can still, I can be around alcohol. I'm in the restaurant business.
Right.
It's a part of what we do.
Right.
And so I've had like everything else I've done in my life, I've always kind of marched to the beat of my own drum.
Right.
Sobriety has been the same way.
Right.
It's just about doing it for myself first.
Right.
And then hopefully that version of myself is a much more positive presence in other people's lives around me. So.
Right. Well, I mean, I say this all the time. I say this to my friends. I say it to myself. You got to put on your own oxygen mask before you help the person next to you.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
You really, I mean, it's such a great life lesson there. And so I think that, for you to be a better dad for your kids, or a better, friend, a better son, a better, whatever, a better restaurateur, a better, employer, employee, whatever, you have to take care of you.
Yeah.
You can't be any good for anybody else.
No, and I used to just ignore that, like it was all about, and I was just, honestly, I was just pushing my demons back,
Right.
like that was a very selfish response to like, I can't worry about myself because I've got restaurants to run, I've got
Right.
people who are, but the fact is, I could have run those restaurants better had I attended to my personal needs first.
Right.
So.
Well, I think, people, that's a great way to avoid looking in the mirror.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm too busy.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
And that happens with people that are in, they're sort of, I like to say they're midsies. They're involved in everybody else's stuff. And it's because they don't want to take a good look at themselves.
Well, and you also justify those personal shortcomings by how productive you feel like you are. Like,
Right.
oh, well, I did this, I helped, do this big event, or I just worked a huge charity event.
Right.
And yes, those are all good things, but it doesn't
Right.
change the fact that there's personal issues that
Right.
you need to address.
So what happens is I think, tell me if you think this is not right, but you sort of measure your successes by what you've done instead of who you are.
Yep.
Because if you look at who you are, you might not think you're very successful.
Yeah, no, and believe me, the past 18 months for what I've been through, that's believe me, I've had that conversation with myself multiple times.
Right.
And you just can't linger on that. Again, you got to move forward.
And here's the bottom line with all that. You have to have the courage to be a little bit introspective.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's so important.
It's funny, too, because we were talking about, the whole dining scene, how
Mm-hmm.
explosive it's been in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And, and the media, it's great content for them.
Right.
And for the most part, you read about all these people's successes, the Kevin Gillespie's, the Ford Fries, the Kevin Rathmans.
Right.
And they all have been, their contributions to the dining scene here have been tremendous.
Right.
But you know what? You can learn a lot from people who fail.
Don't you think that? I mean,
know.
don't you think that's where we all do our learning?
Yeah,
Is in through the failures.
Absolutely.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's in the pain that we grow.
Yeah, once the smoke settles, then you're able to really kind of see that clear picture.
I mean, that goes across the board with relationships and business and and whatever And I don't think anything is really a failure. I think it's just sort of, I mean, I've started to take that approach in life. It's just a way that got me here.
Yeah.
Whatever happened before, whatever the journey was, I'm here because I need to be here, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And the only reason why I got here is because of what I did.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody has that, you are where you are where you are.
You are where you're supposed to be.
Right, and
yeah.
it's the right
I
place.
think I think there's a fine line there.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really subscribe to that, sometimes you can get, I think, a little complacent. You allow the situation to control you.
Oh, I agree with that.
You get to this point where, well, I can't do anything right, so I'm just going to let life circumstances carry me to wherever I'm going. I think you definitely have to be careful to where you're still in control of your destiny.
Absolutely, and you're creating your own future, and you have to, and having a positive outlook on life and yourself, and that comes with in being introspective, looking in the mirror, and learning to love yourself because, with all that, because, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
This is life.
But, I think it's all beautiful anyway. I'm just, I can't help it. Am I just pie in the sky? I'm just totally a pie in the sky girl. I just think I think everybody's great. I hate to be, that's how I am. Like, I love everybody. I love everybody in my life. I'm so excited to be around people. I love my family. I want to share my world and all of that. So that's just sort of the person that I am. So, I guess, I have my bad days, believe me. But I think, just trying to stay positive is really the only way to move forward.
Yeah, well, if you're going to move forward.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's either that or stay in the bed. Don't you think? Days.
Yeah, I went through that I was on that very path.
Right.
So I get it, and it's, you just.
What, I want to ask you this quickly before we go, what was the one thing that, or maybe several things that really help you to decide to get sober?
Everybody reaches rock bottom.
Yeah.
We probably don't have time to talk about what my rock bottom was.
Right.
Yeah, I hit rock bottom. I looked in the mirror and I said, "That's it. I'm done."
Right.
It's hard for me to really verbalize.
Right.
Because I'm not a big guy on AA.
Right.
I read a lot about recovery and addiction.
Right.
I know I'm an addict.
Right.
But yeah, I had tried several times. But when you hit rock bottom, there's only way to move.
The only way is up. That's my book. The only way is up. There you go.
But every day is, every day's a journey. And you wake up and you just say, hey, this is the life I'm gonna. Today's a new day.
Right.
And today I'm gonna stay sober.
So how can people find you or find your events?
Well, I'm still at Southern Bistro.
Right.
So you can definitely find me there over in Chastain Park. My new brand that we're unveiling as we announce Mother Clucker is called I Dig Food. And we'll have a website up shortly and some social media channels for you to check us out. And you know me, I never stop running my mouth. So people here in Atlanta will hear me.
Yay. I love it.
I'm around and love being in this city, and I see such great things in our future on the horizon, both, from a dining standpoint and just from where we're going as a city with the new stadium for the Braves.
Right.
And, it's good things here in Atlanta.
Absolutely, I agree. And I know you've got to scoot because you've got to be up in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm heading to Chattanooga
Yay.
because we're doing a Mother Clucker there at the end of May.
Nice.
And so, so I like kind of just.
I like Chattanooga.
Yeah, Chattanooga's a great city.
It's nice.
I live in Kennesaw, so
Right.
it's actually easier for me to get to Chattanooga than
Right.
it is to get down here to you.
That's funny.
But yeah, this is great being here. I love talking with you. And,
Yay, will you come back?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I want to hear more about what you got going on. So
Yeah, I will
love all
definitely
that.
be back.
So, all right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Living Atlanta. This one is for Reed Faust, Charlie Morgan, and Thomas Harpointer. Thanks for liking my Just Steph and Living Atlanta pages. Yay. All right, let's, can we take it, like,
I'm not in a big hurry.
I know, we'll take a couple of pictures, and then we'll
Yeah.
get into...
How was I?
You were perfect.
Good.
That was great. That was great. And I really didn't expect it to, I know we're out of the picture, people, but stay tuned. We're just going to take a couple of quick pictures, and then I'll be here to talk to you.
Wait, what's over here?
Right
Yes.
here. We'll watch out for this so you don't kill yourself.
Okay,
Okay.
just take a couple.
Oh, wait, let me take these off.
Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna take a few of them.
We're taking pictures, people, so don't leave.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
so good to see you.
You too. Take care.
Yeah, let's
All
stay
right.
in touch.
Be careful.
So
Wonderful
good
meeting
luck
you.
with your new venture.
Thank you.
Don't forget all your stuff.
Here, let me
Water.
give you a card.
Yeah, do that.
Text me some of your pictures and I'll put them up on my.
Okay.
my
And,
stuff as
and
well.
I will text you all the links to all this.
Awesome.
Say hi to Nancy.
I will.
love her. She's awesome.
I'm sure she
All
was
right.
listening.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, she said she.
Hi, Robin Valentine.
Oh, thank you.
Great. Do you want to sit over here?
I can, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it over. All right, kids. So who else is here? Who else was tuning in? Hi, Trisha. Trisha Doty. Jeff said stepping stones in life. That's right. Let's see. Who else? So, and Robin Valentine. Hi, Keith McPhee. How are you, honey? How was your birthday? This is weird.
I know, I don't know what it's doing.
All right, so. All right, kids. All right, so what's going on? We got Living Atlanta coming up for Where to Be this weekend. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna get him. I'll get him all the information. So, okay. All right. I have 2 tickets to the Bodyguard at Fox Theater for next week on Tuesday. They're in the same row, but they're not together. So if anybody wants them, let me know. You can have them. I'll get them to you somehow. So maybe you can find somebody you don't like to sit next to. We got 1 minute. So yeah, I get 2 tickets. It's kind of odd, but they're not together. So, but that's all right. It's the Bodyguard. Oh, at the Fox. Oopsie, I'll get it later. At the Fox next Tuesday, 7:30. That's. I wish I could go. Go by myself. Oh, I keep thinking this. I keep thinking this song's to be over. I'm like, where'd he go? Where's my producer? So. 30 seconds. I got 30 seconds and we're back. Oh, I gotta put my glasses on because I can't see. It's a good song. Did you see when he did it with Jimmy Fallon?
Yes. So good.
All right, kids, we are back. You wanted to know where to go this weekend. You've been waiting for Living Atlanta. Don't believe me, just watch. All right, kids, listen. Drink responsibly, drive responsibly, call designated driver, call Uber, call a cab, call Lyft, call somebody, but do not drink and drive. Please do yourself a favor. Where are you going this weekend?
Oh man, we have a huge weekend plan. We're actually going up to Nashville.
Yay.
We're going tomorrow morning. We're going to come back Sunday, but we're going up for a hockey game.
How fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. It's our first vacation away from the little one, but
Nice.
I'm sure we'll survive.
I love it, Kristen. Thanks. And Kristen, my lovely intern for a year, is going to be leaving me full time. She's going to be a big girl.
I know.
She's putting her big girl panties on and getting a real job. But I'm gonna get her back one day. I am.
I'll come back.
Yay.
I promise.
Oh, yay. All right, so you know what? I've got baseball. You can't believe it. I have 2 games Friday night, back to back, and 2 games Saturday. One of them I'm working concessions. It's crazy with my kids, but I am going to go to Cardio Blast on Saturday.
Good.
So, and if I can, I am going to try and get out a little bit. And I think Sunday, I am, what am I doing? I'm going to cook.
Yeah.
I'm going to cook on Sunday. So, having friends over. So it's just kind of hard. I can't really get out because this will pass though.
Okay.
As soon as the summer comes, I'll be out a little bit. But I'm going to Boston next week. So next week, Deb Bowman and Rusty are going to be in for Just Steph.
They
Yay.
are.
Yeah.
I wish I
so
could
that'll
be
fun.
here.
I know. Well, I need you. I need you. Okay. So what's going on?
So speaking of Deb Bowman, she's got a lot of stuff coming up. She's always at the Region on Wednesdays. But she also has a 2nd annual Swing of Spring coming up. That's on Saturday, March 25th. That's at the Lyrics Studio Theater in Marietta, and doors open at 7:30. She's also Churchill Grounds presents jazz at Mason Tavern Saturday, April 8th from 9 to 11. Lake Lanier House Concert Saturday, April 29th, and that's at 8 o'clock for $20 if you want to go there. And then she's also returning to the stage. She's honored to make her debut performance playing Balladeer in the world premiere of The Dancing Handkerchief. That's at the Theatrical Outfit. June 1st through the 18th. And she's also returning to the Serenity Playhouse in August to play the role of Fräulein Kost in the musical Cabaret.
Nice.
And that's going to be
Deborah.
Yes, in August. She's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a second annual swing of Spring Cabaret at the Lyric Studio. That's actually just mentioned that from Deb Bowman from 8 to 11, and that is
This weekend.
Yes, this weekend. DJ Vanessa Hunley is going to be at G's tonight, and then she's also at G's Sunday for Sunday Funny Karaoke at 6 o'clock. Johnny Prazo is most every night, I believe, it was Ski Mistress.
Yes. I know he was there last night.
Okay.
I think he's there Friday and Saturday too this week.
Perfect. And then we also have music every night at Dixie Tavern, City Winery, Beckman's, and Smith's Old Bar. Now, tonight we also have a shot with Doc at Brookhaven Wines from 5 to 7. There's going to be hors d'oeuvres, fine wine, $7 disport, I believe. You can RSVP online for that. Not Annoying Trivia at Venkman's. That's every Thursday. Friday, we have Paul Joseph Music Live at Sage Social Kitchen from 6 to 10. Boogalicious?
It's like Boogielicious.
I know, boogie.
Boogie. It's not bougie, because bougie is different. So
Right.
It's Boogielicious.
Boogielicious at Wild Wing Cafe in Dunwoody from 9 to 12. Saturday, we have Atlanta's Women's 5K at Chastain Park from 8 to 10 if you want to get fit for your 5K. A cardio blast where you're going, put on by Design Personal Training from 10 to 10:45. There's a Bacon Fest going on at Dad's Garage Theater Company. I know I would love to go there if I was here.
Yeah.
Patio party with live music at Jefe's Taco and Tequila from 5 to 12. They're going to have $5 margaritas and $15 buckets of beer. Yum. And then Simi's monthly soiree at the Le Meridian from 8 to 1
that's where I
on
probably
Saturday.
need to go maybe Saturday night. I might have to go by and see Simi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hear he puts on some great soirees.
It's always packed. Oh, he packs them in, that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He knows more people than anybody. Him and John Seifert.
Oh,
I don't know
man.
how they do it.
They put on some. They do. Sunday, we have a Sunday brunch at Davia's every Sunday from 11 to 3. Delicious food. Bottomless mimosa brunch with Coy Norris Plus at Venkman's from 12:30 to 3. And then Bandex is going to be at Johnny's.
You know what? I want to tell you something else about Venkman's. They're doing a movie and brunch, and it's starting this Sunday at like 10. It's a movie at 10:30 in the morning, and they're showing like the Incredibles. Like it's gonna be like cartoons for the kids. So yeah. So Johnny's. You know what? I might go to Johnny's Hideaway Sunday night.
I was going to mention that. You
Yeah.
might want to
Yeah.
go hang out with your favorite band.
I know. They're awesome. So I love Bandex. They're great. They're unbelievable.
I wish I could hear them.
Yeah. So
Me too.
what else is going on?
Looking ahead, we've also got. Oh, actually, let me mention this first. Inman Park Restaurant Week is starting Monday, and it lasts through April 2nd. And we've got a bunch of participating restaurants like Barcelona, Beetle Cat, we have Char, Free Tea, Hampton and Hudson, Kevin Ruthven Steak, North Highland Pub. I mean, there's plenty going on there, and they're going to have a lot of specials going on, and prefix menus, and
Right.
lots
And
of
I
good
saw
stuff.
that Soto's doing like the zucchini like noodles.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like for a lighter fare.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yum.
So and then what we have the Dogwood Festival coming up.
We do, and the Mimosa 5K is actually right in between that and 4 on April 8th. And then Network Over 40, I just found this out, that they're doing one of their last events for the foreseeable future because Plus is actually leaving the company. So they're going to have their Network Over 40 at Capitol Grill on April 19th.
Oh, nice. So if you want to get out there and make some business connections. I have a big shout out to my Boston birthday peeps, Lisa Palazzolo Cataldo, Anthony Bardaro, and Robert Mulatto. Happy birthday, guys. Next week we have Rusty and Deb are here. They're sitting in for me. We have Dr. Diane Alexander from Artisan Plastic Surgery coming on the 6th, and we have Jerry Farber is back on the 13th. So yeah, so we have lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff happening, and of course I'm a podcast on iTunes. You can find out all of what's going on in Atlanta during the week, where to get half-price bottles of wine and your half-price apps, all on the Living Atlanta calendar for 99 cents a month. You get a free download of my book, so don't miss it. And check me out on Facebook, Twitter. I'm at Steph Palermo. YouTube, Instagram is Just Steph 1, and I'm on all those everything else.
Everything else.
Google Plus.
Everything.
So that's it. Well, I'm gonna miss you,
I'm going to miss you.
but we'll still work a little bit together.
Of course.
All right. So all right, guys, we're gonna see you next week. Right, with Deb and Rusty.
Deb and Rusty.
Yeah. I love you all. Wishing you love, balance, and peace. Ciao, ciao, baby. Love you. All right. All right, kids. Say goodbye to Kristen.
I'll be back sometime.
Somebody get me a real job, and then I can pay her.
I'll come back.
All right, kids. Love you. Bye.